All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. This is our monthly meeting of the Astrobiology Science Communication Guild. I'm glad to see so many people interested in today's topic. I wanted to do something a little bit different today. Usually it's just us giving an opportunity or sharing an opportunity for guild members. But with this meeting, I wanted to really hear from you. And we are a community of practice, which means it's good to hear from our community, and it's good to, share what everyone is up to and what everyone's participating in terms of science communication opportunities. So today I have five of you on the agenda, and I don't know that everyone's here, but we're going to go ahead and get started. Our first speaker today is going to be Aubrey Zirkle, and she's going to talk to us about an opportunity called SciWorthy, which is a website where you can read science news, basically. Aubrey, would you like me to go ahead and read your bio? I think we could start with, is that okay with you?
Yeah, that's fine.
Cool. So Dr. Aubrey Zirkle is a biogeochemist interested in the co-evolution of life on Earth and other planetary environments over geologic timescales. She recently fled academia to become a research scientist at Blue Marble Space Institute of Science, BMSIS, yay, and editor-in-chief of Blue Marble SciWorthy Initiative. She now has time for hobbies like cooking, yoga, making and drinking fermented beverages. I love your hobbies. I'm a big fan of all of the above also. All right. So take it away, Aubrey.
Thanks very much. Thanks for the introduction. Is it okay if I show a couple of slides?
Absolutely.
As a recovering academic, I have to have my PowerPoint presentations. So, it says that you have disabled participant screen sharing.
So you just got to make everyone a co-host that you want to present, Svet.
Okay. Thanks, Mike. Yeah, I forgot about that. Make co-host. Okay.
Does that help? Okay, perfect. Yes. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so I'm going to just give you a brief introduction of SciWorthy, which, as Svet just said, I'm currently the editor-in-chief of. We are a science news website. We specifically publish articles that are summaries of recently published journal articles. So we focus on one sort of research paper at a time. And we teach courses how to do that, which I'll get back to in a bit. We're an initiative of the nonprofit research organization Blue Marble Space, which Svet also mentioned. And all of our writers are trained scientists and science professionals who are trained in the areas that they're writing about. So most folks that write for us have PhDs or are in the process of getting PhDs. So we really want to have knowledgeable folks writing about the science that others are doing and excited about. And there are kind of two things that we focus on at SciWorthy that's different than other sort of science news websites. First of all, we focus very much on explaining the methods of the science that's happening. So, how does an MRI work, or how do astronomers use different sort of measurements from outer space to piece together how stars form and things like that. So that's one of the things that most science news websites sort of really gloss over. But we want to demystify the way that science is done, which is one way to help sort of bring that to a wider audience and to bring in folks who are skeptical. The other thing that we really focus on is objectivity. So we stay away from clickbaits and political bias like many other news websites do. So those are kind of the two things that we really try to do that helps us, we think, reach a wider audience and bring in people that are skeptical of science in general. So how can you get involved? Well, you can write for us. Our astrobiology section is quite weak at the moment, which is really too bad because, as I said, we're an initiative of Blue Marble Space. But what we publish on the site really depends on who our writers are. So we tend to have a lot of biologists and medical writers at the moment, which is dominating our content. But I'd love to get the space science and astrobiology content beefed up a bit more. If you want to join us as a team member, training is included. We just require a commitment of about 6 articles over 1 or 2 years. And that's because we're a nonprofit. So the way that we actually make money is through our only sort of income stream is through these training courses. And so we give those to our team members for free. So then we ask that you sort of commit to writing for us for some period of time. You can also keep us updated if there are any exciting papers that you have coming out. If you don't want to write about them, you can talk to us about it, and maybe one of us can write about them. I also do a Q&A, written Q&A for SaganNet, which is another one of the Blue Marble space initiatives that's specifically interviewing folks about recent astrobiology papers that they have written. So if you're interested in doing an interview for that, you can get in touch with me as well. We also have training courses, which might be useful for you or your students. The one in general the one in particular that you might be interested in is our Sci 101 class, Science Writing for the People. It's fully online, self-paced. This says that it's 8 weeks long, but that's because there are sort of 8 different sections to it, but you can sort of do it as quickly as you want to. It's $39, which if you've priced any kind of science writing courses from profit industry and other profit-based institutions, this is an absolute steal. So it's a really great class. It goes through everything from sort of the science of science communication to marketing, of course, things like grammar and structure, but also storytelling, which is an important part of writing science. So that's one thing that you can do, or you can, if you're interested in sort of beefing your ability to write science for general audiences. The other thing that we do, if you're a university professor at a university or a regional college or even high school, although that's pushing it a little bit, is we do something called the Professor Partnership Program, where we partner with teachers who are teaching science classes who want their students to learn science and science writing at the same time. So those students will take our Science 100, Sci 100 Intro to Science Writing course, which is a sort of shorter version of the one I was just talking about. They use what they learn to write a Sci-worthy style article about a recently published scientific paper. And then they get 2 or 3 rounds of feedback from our editors in sort of a professional editorial style. So this is really sort of a real world type experience for them. And then if accepted, their article actually will get published on our website. So this is a great way to teach your students science writing, and also to give them a little bit of a foot in the door if it's something that they're interested in pursuing. So one thing that you have to do when you want to be a science writer is build up a portfolio. So getting even your first sort of story out and published can be a really good way to start that. So that's one of the things that the students really enjoy. And so that's it. So if you have any other questions, feel free to ask me at the end of this, or contact me on Slack or on my Blue Marble website, or I also run the info@sciworthy.com website as well. Thanks very much.
Thank you, Aubrey. I see that David had a question for you in the chat. Do you compensate your writers?
We do, but because we're a nonprofit, the compensation is sort of barely a compensation. So it's $15 per article, which is absolutely nothing given the amount of time that it takes to write. But as I said, it's a really great way to build up a portfolio. Many of our writers have gone on to have jobs as editors and writers, science writers. One of them just got a job at Nature Robotics. Another one is an editor at Cell Biology. So it's a great way to build up a portfolio.
Yeah, that sounds fine. There's a pet peeve a lot of people have is that in a lot of fora, creatives are expected to do stuff for free because you'll get exposure as an artist or whatever. But in this case, I hear what you're saying. There actually is some, the training, and it sounds like it's not for free, really. So as long as you can get critical mass of people eager to participate, and it sounds like you're on your way to that, then I don't mean to imply that it's inherently exploitive what you're doing. In fact, it sounds worthwhile. I was just curious how that worked.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love to be able to pay our writers more. And the way that we need to do that is to expand our professor partnership program. But I'm currently limited by the number of editors that I have. So, we can only take on 2 or 3 classes per semester because I only have 2 or 3 editors. So if we got more people writing for us, we could take on more classes, we could make more money, we could start to pay people more. And the editing, the editing for the professor partnership program pays $16 per hour, which is, again, it's minimum wage, but it's better than just writing a single article. So we're trying. We'd love to be able to pay folks more, for sure.
I wonder, sorry to jump in again, but just on this topic, I wonder if there's any possibility of some co-sponsorship from any media outlet that might want to pay some money and then have access to quality stories. Is that something that might be worth pursuing?
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea how to pursue that. I'm a scientist, not a marketer. But if you have ideas of who to approach for things like that, that would be great. I'd love to hear about them. That's one of the things that it's definitely my weakness as an editor in chief. I don't have any training in marketing.
Yeah. Well, if I come up with any brilliant specific ideas on that line, I'll send them your way.
Thanks. Yeah, thanks a lot. But I should think about it and look into if there are ways that we could do that. That's a great idea.
One thought that pops into my mind is, Aubrey, are you plugged into the Science Talk conference and the organizers of that conference? Allie Kaufman.
No,
I can see what I can do there. Maybe I can put you in touch with them. Yeah, that's an annual conference that might be right up your alley and might help.
Awesome. That sounds great. Thanks very much.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks so much, Aubrey. Let's move on to Julia DeMarine. So let me read Julia's bio here. Julia is an astrobiologist and science communicator working at the UC Berkeley SETI Research Center with Blue Marble and with, BMSIS again. She's a 2019 National Geographic Explorer and 2018 Grosvenor Teacher Fellow and a 2019 AGU Voices for Science advocate. Her research involves detecting life in the universe through biosignatures and technosignatures. Her current project, called the Moonbounce Project, is measuring Earth's technosignatures by observing terrestrial radio waves reflected or bounced off of the moon. She's also passionate about inspiring the next generation of scientists and teachers to underserved students around the world through the Ad Astra Academy. Julia also runs her own outreach event, which we will hear about today, called Space in Your Face, a space variety show involving comedy, local artists, and cover songs. Julia, take it away.
All right. Well, thank you so much for having me. For those who don't know me, again, I'm Julia DeMarinis, and right now I'm in the Bay Area, and I've been a SciComm fan of Astrobio for as long as I have been in the field, I guess, which is since 2007. So I made a few slides. Just my goals today are to kind of introduce this Blue Marble Space initiative called Space in Your Face, sort of communicate the vibes of it, not to be too Gen Z about it, but and then open it up for, I'd like to share some of my goals that were really just expanding it and involving more people and communicating your science in ways that maybe you haven't before. And I think I just mentioned, doing, getting more online and on the other kind of social medias like TikTok, which I'm an older person now and don't have those skills. So let me go ahead and share screen if that's possible. Okay. Give me 1 second. All right. So Space in Your Face. It sounds as fun as the name is, in my opinion. This is a little logo. And it was actually inspired by David Grinspoon, who's on the call right now. I worked for David in 2010 to 13, around that time. And he had a band called the House Band of the Universe. and this is them here, and I got to help out with that. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because when I was working with David, if anyone knows David's personality and just how great he is at science communication, we were trying to figure out a way to kind of bring that sort of energy into Denver, where we were at the time, and do a funky science cabaret, in his words. And so it got us both thinking about how to bring science to the people in fun and engaging ways that aren't more traditional lectures and things like that. So David actually left for the first inaugural chair of astrobiology in DC, and I stayed back in Denver and started. I wanted to carry on with the idea, and it all started at the space bar. It was not called a space bar. I pitched an idea to a community venue above a vegetarian restaurant in Denver called the restaurant's called City, and the space, community space is Kyle, and started presenting these like science that involved the community and involved music, songs, karaoke, skits, a smorgasbord. So kind of going on sort of David's original funky science cabaret. I liked the variety idea of that and communicating a science topic in a variety of different mediums. It worked quite well, and people in the community wanted to join and say, hey, I'm trying stand-up. Can I do a bit at a space in your face? So I'll just show you some flyers from some of the past events and some pictures. I don't have like a full comprehensive. These are just sort of snippets. But had like space synth music. We had a lot of songs and dancing and a lot of drag for some reason. And some of the topics are like Venus, so hot right now. Just going through some of these event names. We had a space prom for our 1-year anniversary. And I'll skip that one. That one was like involving my own personal life. But I moved to California and started it here, and didn't have the community that I had in Denver, but I was going to open mic nights and just trying to see if I could find interested folks to collaborate, and met some wonderful people who I would bring to do. They would do like a space rap or a space song, or even like space burlesque in a very tasteful way. And even some like, this is like my only celebrity name drop that I have. Stealth Ulvang from the Lumineers we've collaborated quite a bit on some space songs. And yes, this woman Lex now lives in New York and is doing music full time. And so wanted to kind of show you the playfulness of it, and hopefully you get these vibes from some of these pictures. Oops, I forgot to erase the last bullet. But what I wanted to share is that this is a really fun way if you want to push the boundaries of science communication, and like to a more, I would say, adult audience, but can be tailored. But the general vibes is fun, engaging, and silly and humorous ways to communicate your science. And I am always looking to collaborate with scientists or anyone who has an idea of a skit or a cover song that's been in their brain. I'd love to help make it come alive for you and share your awesome science to a wider audience. I do these events in person, and during the pandemic, I did them online. And I want to start putting more online content, which I think would be an awesome way to involve anyone who's interested in sharing your science in more engaging ways. But those are the skills that I lack a little bit. So that's an ask. And I think maybe I've said enough there. These are all of my things. And open it up for questions.
All right. That was awesome, Julia. Yes, I have attended the local DC one a couple years back, and it was definitely a blast. Mark enjoyed it as well. All right. Looks like there are no questions that I can see, just lots of comments and support.
Oh, I didn't even see these.
All right. Well, you all can continue to chat in the chat and afterwards. If there are no specific questions, let's move on. Thank you so much, Julia, for sharing. And this will be recorded, so this will be posted on the website. So if anyone if anyone out there who missed this meeting is now watching the recording, feel free to contact these awesome guild members, and if you're interested in helping them, and keep our community going. Okay, so let us move on to Linda Billings, who's going to share some experiences in her local community with us. Dr. Linda Billings is a consultant to NASA's astrobiology program and planetary defense coordination office on communication strategy and planning. She earned her PhD in mass communication from Indiana University. Her research interests include science and risk communication, social studies of science, and the history and rhetoric of science and space exploration. Her papers have been published in way too many journals to name, and she's a contributing author of way too many books to name. Dr. Billings has worked in the aerospace community for over 40 years, primarily in Washington, D.C., and was elected a fellow of the American Association of the Advancement of Science in 2009. She now lives in Sarasota, Florida, with her cat, Fritzy, who she sometimes thinks must have come from outer space. And Linda is one of my colleagues in the astrobiology office, so it is a pleasure to have you. Linda, take it away.
Thank you. I'll be really brief. I have found my way very circuitously. I started out as a journalist in DC, and then got a PhD in mass communication. And so I've been bringing science to my work with astrobiology and planetary defense. So bringing the science, the theory and methods of science communication, and I so appreciate everything that you're doing. But that's really what I've been bringing to the work that I do. Theory and methods, how can I say, the bedrock of the work that we do. And it's wonderful, everything that you're doing. And that's probably all I need to say. I mean, you can always contact me. It's just been a wonderful experience working with the astrobiology and planetary defense community and bringing that theory and method into the work that we do. And I'm probably the oldest person on the call. I'm 72 years old, so it takes a while, That's what I want to say. Yeah, that's it.
Right. We do have a few more minutes in your slot, and one of our speakers is actually not here, so we do have a tiny bit of time. If you wanted to get into any more detail, I know you've done a lot with your local Sarasota community, or anything else you'd like to share. Or
well, that's very important. Yeah, actually, when I was living in the DC community, I had a lot more opportunities to speak to universities and community organizations. And in Sarasota, Yes. Thank you, Svet, for reminding me of that. So basically in Sarasota, because we're all old people, I've been speaking with retirement communities and also my Unitarian Universalist church. Yeah. But I'm always looking for opportunities to speak at the local level. And I think all of us can do that. You know, we all want to speak at the national level, but the way we make connections is at the local level. Yeah. Thank you, Svet.
Very cool. Okay. If that's it, we can continue on to our next speaker, and we can circle back to you, Linda, if there's more time, because I know you have a lot of stories to share about your local community. But if not, let's go ahead and move on to Chanel Vidal. And you have a co-speaker, Pilar. Are both of you here, Pilar and Chanel? Yes. Okay. Yes. So they are going to talk to us. Okay, great. They're going to talk to us about an astrobiology symposium that they're organizing at Arizona State University. Go Sun Devils! That is that is where I got my PhD. So ASU holds a special place in my heart. Bios. Chanel Vidal is a PhD candidate in the School of Earth and Space Exploration. She's excited about research that is at the intersection of microbiology and geology and enjoys exploring life in extreme environments. Her research focuses on membrane lipid adaptations bacteria make during cold and desiccation shock, with an overarching goal of trying to figure out how bacteria could live in extreme cold and arid environments. Outside of research, she enjoys trail running in the beautiful mountains around Phoenix, exploring new recipes to cook, and spending time with her 7-pound dog. And we've got another attendee. Sorry, let me admit. And Pilar Vergelli, I hope I'm saying that right, is an astrobiologist finishing up her PhD in geological sciences at the School of Earth and Space Exploration at Arizona State University. She's interested in planetary scale ecosystem biogeochemistry and early Earth photogeochemistry. She investigates the elemental composition encoded in metagenomic data to better understand statistically distinguishable properties of ecosystems, and if those properties are predictable based on planetary environment and enzyme function. She also conducts photogeochemical experiments to understand the possible effects of iron photooxidation during the Archean eon on Earth and potentially elsewhere. Pilar is also the interview lead for the NASA Nexus Science Communication Working Group. Cool. So take it away, Chanel and Pilar.
Cool. Firstly, thanks for having us and letting us present here. I'm super excited to share about our symposium. I'm trying to figure out how to share my screen real quick. Okay, cool. Can everyone see that okay? Wait, maybe I didn't actually hit share.
I do not see
okay.
it. Oh, no.
That's why I asked. Okay, how about now? Can everyone see this okay?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. So let's see. Okay, so I'm going to chat a little bit about the Arizona Astrobiology Symposium, which is a passion project that was started by a student who is a few years ahead of me and is now off doing really cool things at Goddard. So now Pilar and I and Sierra, who's also here, are working on the symposium. So first, I'll start off by saying a little bit about who I am. There's already a great introduction given about me anyway, but yeah, I'm a PhD candidate at Arizona State University, working with Elizabeth Trembath-Reichert. I'm a newly minted PhD candidate, and this is a picture of me hugging my advisor with streamers that she gave my friends to throw at me after I passed my quals. So it was a really great moment. Also, CC is the best place to do your PhD because this is how we celebrate quals. Anyway, so yeah, we already went over this. I'm exploring membrane lipid adaptations that bacteria make in cold and dry environments. So I'm really excited about life in Antarctica and applying that to finding life in Mars. So that's kind of how I got into astrobiology and my interest in astrobiology. I'm definitely coming from more of the science side, and I'm trying to get more involved in the science communication side. And I'm mostly doing that through the symposium. Yeah, but now I'll have my teammate Pilar introduce herself.
All right. Hello. That was a really great introduction. I suppose I didn't need to reiterate my interest here, but basically, I am really excited about to be here to talk with you guys about AZ Astrobio. We've been working on this for a few years, and it's been a really fun experience and symposium. I'm particularly interested in, I really enjoy being able to do my science, but also I feel very strongly about science communication because it's because of, being exposed to astrobiological topics and different, media that I was actually able to, explore these research interests and why I'm here in the first place. And I really feel strongly about giving back in the same capacity and to do whatever I can to help people from underrepresented groups get into science and see how, it could be accessible for them. Also, shameless plug, I'm expected to graduate next year, so I will be on the job market. But I'm very excited to be here and chat with you guys today. And yeah, I'll let Chanel get back to it and take it away.
Cool. Thanks, Pilar. Okay, so first I thought I would start off by just introducing what the symposium is and what our values are with the symposium. So it's called the Arizona Astrobiology Symposium, or AZ Astrobio for short, because everything has to be an acronym in our field. AZ Astrobio is a student-organized, student-oriented regional one-day symposium. So it is, everyone on the organizing committee is students, either undergrads or grad students. And the symposium, all of the presenters are all students. So it's supposed to be enriching both for people learning how to organize and also people learning how to present their research. It's currently a one-day symposium. We would like to expand that at some point. I'll touch on that a little bit more later. And it so far consists of poster presentations, talks, about 12 to 15-minute talks, and 1 to 2 social events. So this last time we had a lunch, and we also had focus groups where we had people sit at round tables and discuss fun questions like, if we found life on Mars, what kind of adaptations would it have to the harsh radiation that exists there? It's just a nice way to get creative with how we're thinking about our work and also just meet a lot of other people. So the goal is basically just to help students learn how to present their research, get new ideas, and meet other people in the state who are also in astrobiology and try and form that community that we all need to do good science. But our goals are really exciting. We're really hoping to expand. So the ways that we are expanding for our next symposium, which is scheduled to happen in March 2024, are by having a larger organizing committee. So our organizing committee previously had probably one person from NEU and U of A, but we've expanded. Now we have grad students and undergrads from both institutions. We also are going to have a student-led science communication bootcamp. So one of the challenges that I think we all face is how to make our science accessible to everybody in the room. That's a really hard thing to do. So here at ASU, we're really lucky with all of the work that is going on here, and we have professors who focus specifically on science education, and so therefore students who are focusing on that too. So our plan for our upcoming symposium is to have students who are working with those professors who do science communication and science education to help create a science communication bootcamp, so that way we can get all of our presenters on the same page about who the audience is. And then also it's just really good practice for people to learn how to communicate their science. So that's something that we're adding to the symposium this upcoming year. And another future plan we have is to apply for more funding. The reason why we want more funding is because we have a lot of future goals. These are larger goals than our future plans, but our overarching goal for the symposium is to increase accessibility. So one of the main reasons why we want more funding is so that way we can maybe have an easier way to incorporate community college students or students who aren't at R1 universities and might not have the astrobiology community around them, like we're really lucky to have at the big state schools that I mentioned in the previous slide. And we'd also like to start inviting out-of-state students, again, just because of the community. Arizona has such a great astrobio community, but there's a lot of students in neighboring states that might not have the same access. So we'd like to try and invite them, but it's just really hard because that's a long drive. It's a lot of gas. And then if we have it be a one-day symposium and it's an 8-hour drive to get here, we would like to be able to provide lodging. So that's the main reason. our main way we're trying to increase accessibility is by increasing funding. We're also trying to figure out how to incentivize professors to join the symposium, but without centering in the symposium. So their feedback and presence is greatly appreciated, obviously by the organizers, but also the students feel it really strongly. To have a professor walk up to you when you're presenting about your science as an undergrad and having that dialogue back and forth is really impactful. And we even had a community college student who came to our spring symposium, ended up coming to ASU in the fall. So it was super exciting to see that happen. So I want to make more connections and have hopefully more moments like that. But I would like to keep the symposium student oriented. So we've had some ideas for how to incentivize professors to join the symposium without centering them. One of them is having a poster contest that the professors can judge or like put on. I'm not sure how much I love the idea of a poster contest, but it seemed like a good idea. And then we'll also have plenary talks. So we'll have a professor open with a inspiring talk, which pictured here, Hillary Hartnett gave our one in the spring, and it was really, really wonderful. But if that's the way we incentivize professors, that's only one professor. So how do we get more? So that's the main reason why I wanted to present here, is to hear from you all and see if you all had any ideas after hearing about our symposium, if you might know of any ways that we could incentivize professors to join, or if you know of any pools of funding that we could possibly apply for. We're really hungry to make this bigger and to expand it. So we will we'll do anything at this point. We really want it to expand and get bigger. We're really excited about it. So yeah, I think that's all I had. And I'm excited to hear all of your ideas if any of you have any. And if any of my teammates have anything to add, then feel free to chime in.
Thank you so much, Chanel and Pilar. Excellent. I am very excited about this symposium. Any thoughts, discussion, feedback? No? Okay. So in the absence of additional thoughts and feedback, yes, so great. Lots of support in the chat.